When a special child screams, "Mommy." At midnight, a devastating truth is revealed. The clock struck midnight, cutting through the quiet like a knife. In a tiny house at the edge of town, something sinister unfolded. The night was thick with shadows, whispering secrets of dread. And then, through the oppressive silence, came the piercing scream of a child, shattering the calm. "Mommy," it cried, echoing down the lonely street, sending chills down the spine of anyone within earshot. This wasn't just any child. Little Lily was known for her precociousness and the peculiar way she seemed to know things she shouldn't. People in Willow Creek whispered about her, wondering if she was touched by something otherworldly. Lily's parents had always sensed something different about her. Every night, they tucked her in, always with a prayer, hoping the darkness wouldn't seep into her dreams. But on this night, those hopes were dashed. As the scream erupted, her mom, Sarah, bolted upright in bed, her heart racing. Fear clawed at her insides. She rushed down the hallway, feet pounding against the old wooden floor, every creak echoing the terror that filled her chest. Outside, the streetlights flickered, casting ghostly shapes that danced around her as she neared Lily's room. The air was electric, tinged with something unexplainable. She felt it, the weight of unseen eyes watching, waiting. Just as she reached the door, another scream pierced the air, filled with raw desperation. "Mommy!" It was a plea, a warning. What had woken her child? What lurked in the dark? Before we continue, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. Sarah's hand shook as she reached for the doorknob, her breath catching in her throat. What could possibly be in that room? The shadows seemed to thrum with anticipation, as if the very walls were alive, urging her on. She flung the door open, her heart pounding like a war drum. The room was eerily still, nothing but the soft glow of the moon spilling onto Lily's bed. But then, an unnatural chill swept through, swirling around her like a ghostly breeze. And there was Lily, wide-eyed and trembling, staring into the corner of her room as if something was lurking just out of view. "Mommy, it's coming for me," she whispered, her voice trembling like a leaf in the wind. Sarah felt the walls close in, dread pooling in her gut. What could she possibly do? Would the truth of that midnight scream tear their world apart? The tension hung in the air like a thick fog, and in that moment, the hairs on the back of her neck stood up. What had begun as a simple parental instinct to protect had spiraled into something far more sinister. She took a step closer to her child, determination surging through her veins. There had to be a reason Lily was screaming. What was hiding in the shadows, waiting for its moment? What terrible truth lay beneath that chilling plea? Sarah's heart raced, and she steeled herself for what was to come. The air crackled, heavy with a sense of impending doom. Sarah stood frozen at the threshold, engulfed by the darkness of Lily's room. It felt like stepping into a void, where time stood still, and the world outside faded away. Her throat tightened, fear gnawed at her insides. What was it that Lily saw? What terror awaited them both? "Mommy, it knows I can see it." Lily's voice quivered, laced with a horror Sarah had never heard from her child. The words wrapped around Sarah's heart like icy fingers, squeezing tight. She tried to shake off the paralysis, tried to find the courage to step into that unnerving silence. "Lily, sweetie," Sarah spoke softly, though her voice wavered, "what do you see? Can you tell me?" But the child merely shook her head, tears spilling down her cheeks. It's not like a monster, Mommy. It's darker than dark." Lily's eyes widened further, staring unblinking into the corner as if transfixed. "It's coming, it's been waiting." In that moment, the shadows in the corner shifted, swirling like smoke. Goosebumps pricked Sarah's skin as fear splintered through her. Could her little girl see something that she couldn't see? Each second seemed infinite, the room growing colder, sapping energy from her limbs. Desperation clawed at her, she could not let whatever haunted her child reach them. "Stay here, pumpkin. I'll turn on the light," Sarah managed, her voice trembling. She inched toward the light switch, every step feeling like a sin against the oppressive stillness. Her fingers fumbled, anxiety mounting as she flipped the switch. Nothing happened, the bulb remained dark, and an unsettling laugh echoed from the corner. It was low, mocking, and it sent icy dread cascading down Sarah's spine. She turned back to Lily, whose eyes were wide with terror. "Mommy, don't. Don't make it mad." "No, no, no," Sarah whispered back, panic bubbling beneath her skin. Every maternal instinct screamed at her to protect her child, to shield her from whatever darkness lurked unseen. "I'm here, sweetheart. I won't let it hurt you." As she stood there caught between the terror of the unknown and her duty as a mother, the invisible weight of the room shifted, pressing down upon her. She glanced toward the corner again, her breath now shallow, heart racing so fast she thought it might pound right out of her chest. Then, like a bolt of lightning, a suggestion lanced through her mind. "What if I sing?" Sarah thought. "Maybe it will keep whatever that is at bay." Summoning all her courage, she began to hum softly, a lullaby that had soothed Lily many times before. She poured every ounce of love and hope into her voice, praying it would reach beyond the shadows. But as the melody drifted through the darkness, it morphed into something else, a chilling mockery, taunting her efforts. Lily's screams pierced the air once again. "It's right there. Please, Mommy!" Before Sarah could react, the temperature suddenly plummeted. She felt an unseen hand brush past her shoulder, icy fingers running down her spine. In that moment, fear locked her in place, her instincts waging war with a heartbeat that threatened to drown out every rational thought. As the whispering shadows surged around them, the walls trembled and sighed. Sarah had to know what lay hidden in that corner. What truth was too terrible to face? And just like that, a soft, sinister voice broke through the darkness, addressing Lily in a cruel, sing-song tone. "You shouldn't have called for Mommy." That was when the realization hit Sarah. This was just the beginning, and they had awakened something that would haunt them both forever. What had they summoned into their lives? As she clutched Lily close, dread settled in, knowing they were both caught in a web of darkness. What truth had Lily unwittingly invited into their home? With one last quivering breath, a shadow shifted again, loomed larger, and Sarah's final thought screamed in her mind: they were not alone. The shadows twisted and writhed, growing bolder and angrier. Sarah felt her stomach churn. Logic screamed at her to break free, to pull Lily away from the suffocating darkness, but the icy grip of fear froze her in place. The air grew heavy, oppressive, as if the room itself were holding its breath. "Mommy! Please!" Lily cried out, her small frame trembling violently. The voice, dripping with malice, danced around them. "She can't protect you, little one. She's powerless just like the rest." It felt like icy knives digging into Sarah's very soul. Deep down, beneath layers of maternal instinct and terror, she knew the truth. Could she truly save her daughter? "Stop it. Just stop!" Sarah shouted at the dark, anger coursing through her. The twisted shadows paused, as if considering her defiance. For a brief, electrifying moment, Sarah felt a flicker of strength. But then the temperature dropped further, a chilling wind swirling through the room, blowing against her face. Her confidence faltered, and dread re-entered her heart with crushing weight. Lily continued to cry, "Don't let it take me, Mommy." Sarah moved instinctively, clutching her daughter tighter. "I won't let it hurt you, Lily," she said fiercely, determination lacing her trembling words. "Liar." The voice sneered, now deep and ghostly. The shadows morphed, forming a twisted visage, half-formed yet horrifyingly real. You have no idea what you've invited into your life. She belongs to me now. Her instincts screamed at her to flee, but fear held her tight in its grasp. What kind of entity had they awakened? Every moment felt stretched, etched in horror. Why can't I see you? Sarah's voice was barely a whisper now. Because you're meant to listen, it sneered. You will learn the hard way that you cannot shield her from the truth. What truth? The question echoed in her mind, but it drifted away with the swirling darkness. A flicker of movement pulled Sarah's gaze back to the corner. She could see the shadow taking form, a grotesque, flickering image that twisted and churned like smoke caught in an unseen breeze. Panic surged. Lily's sobs echoed louder, cutting through Sarah's fog of fear. Mommy! Help me! It's everywhere! With that, Sarah's heart leapt into action, and she darted toward the window, searching for any source of light. But the weight of despair felt insurmountable. Each corner of the room seemed to pulse with darkness as the creature laughed, a terrible sound that bounced off the walls. Foolish woman, it taunted, you think your light can save her? You only feed its hunger. Lily's cries filled the silence, a symphony of innocence engulfed in terror. Each shriek thrust Sarah into action, forcing her instincts to surge. She grabbed the nearest object within reach, a dusty lamp on the nightstand, and hurled it towards the corner. The sound of glass shattering seemed to electrify the air. In that split second, the dark figure flinched, momentarily retreating. The temperature rose slightly, but as Sarah held her breath, she could almost see it reforming, outrage pouring off of it like waves. Why have you done this? It howled, anger curling around the words like a tightening noose. Because I'm not losing my child. Sarah roared back, the words fueled by an unquenchable fire. But deep inside, she wondered if they had truly awakened a nightmare that could not be contained. The shadows closed in again, and just as fear began to grip her once more, an overwhelming thought crashed through the chaos. What if this darkness is just a reflection of something even deeper? The eyes of the shadowy figure seemed to glimmer back at her with a sinister understanding. In that moment, Sarah realized the truth, that the darkness was not just outside, it was intertwined with their lives. Air thick with uncertainty and dread enveloped them as Sarah clutched her daughter to her heart. That nagging question lingered, what horrible truth were they on the verge of uncovering? And just like that, with a shuddering breath, Sarah prepared herself to confront the deepest fears of both mother and daughter. The shadows shifted, swirling as anger thickened the air around them. Sarah could feel it pressing against her chest like a vice, squeezing every last bit of courage from her heart. Lily was still crying, her small body shaking with fear, anchoring Sarah to the moment, grounding her in the battle they were fighting. Please, Mommy. Lily choked out between sobs. The girl's wide eyes shimmered with unshed tears, radiating an innocence that screamed for protection. In that moment, Sarah's mind raced. She couldn't let the creature win. The darkness wanted to play with their fears and uncertainties, but she refused to be a pawn. With a surge of adrenaline, Sarah glanced around, seeking anything that might serve as a weapon against the encroaching dark. Her heart thundered. She saw the small bookshelf nestled in the corner, its spine cracked from years of neglect. Without waiting for a second thought, she dashed towards it, her hands trembling as she pulled a few heavy books off the top shelf. Get back! She shouted, throwing the first book, watching the shadows recoil as the impact echoed through the room like a thunderclap. Your puny attempts are nothing. The voice mocked, building in maddening crescendos. You cannot escape your fate, nor can you escape me. Watch me. Sarah screamed back, a new fire lighting in her chest. She hurled another book, and with each thud against the wall, it seemed to sap the darkness of its strength. For a brief moment, a crack of light sliced through the thick air, illuminating the terror that had cornered them. The entity flickered, almost faltering. Lily clung to her mother's waist, the bond between them tightening like a lifeline. It's still here, Mommy. She cried, her voice barely a whisper, but filled with urgency. I know, baby. We just have to keep fighting. The shadows writhed in retaliation, twisting grotesquely as if trying to find a way to reassert itself. Darkness pooled at their feet, reaching out, threatening to wrap itself around their ankles. Sarah could feel the weight of it, an icy grip that chilled her bones. "Why are you so afraid?" The voice hissed, its tone now dripping with dripping sadism. "Don't you want to know the truth? Don't you want to hear what your precious daughter really is?" "What do you mean?" Sarah shouted, confusion melded with anger. "What are you trying to take from us?" Suddenly, the shadows recoiled, leaving a strange silence echoing in the room. "You've always known, Mother. All those moments of hiding the sounds, the whispers." Sarah felt dizzy. Each sentence dripped with venomous truth. Had she truly been ignorant, or was she in denial? The darkness seemed to sense her hesitation, drawing closer as it whispered twisted thoughts into her mind. "Stop!" she yelled, shaking her head fiercely. "I'm not scared of you. You're a figment, a trick." "Am I?" it crooned, the sinister tone clutching her heart with fear. "Or am I simply the embodiment of what you refuse to see?" The room buzzed with tension, and Sarah took a shaky breath. Was there something more at play? She tightened her grip around Lily, every ounce of protective energy igniting within her. "I want to let you take her," she growled, tearing away any momentary doubt. The dark entity howled, a tormented scream that clawed at her ears. The air rippled around them, charged with raw power, the kind that curdled blood. They had reached a critical point. Lily's eyes widened in terror, her small hands clutching Sarah's shirt, fingers digging in as if her grip could somehow save them. "Mommy, what if it's true?" Lily's voice trembled so violently that it tightened Sarah's chest. The realization crashed over her like a wave, the shadows were using Lily's fears against them. All the time Sarah had brushed off Lily's fears, her inexplicable sixth sense had it all led to this. The darkness pulsed and churned, the depth of its malice swirling closer, ready to expose everything. Just as the shadows lunged forward in a final, furious attack, Sarah realized this was more than a fight against a dark force. It was a battle for understanding. For acceptance. "Stay strong, Lily. We have to face it together." But how could they confront their fears when they didn't yet know what those fears truly were? As Sarah's heart raced, the shadows closed in, and the terrifying realization dawned: she was running out of time to find out the truth before it swallowed everything whole. What horrible revelations awaited them lurking within the dark? The shadows surged forward, a wave of darkness that threatened to drown them both. Sarah's mind raced for solutions, desperate for anything that might push back this terror. She grabbed another book and hurled it, but the strike seemed weaker now, dulled by despair. "Fear not the darkness." A booming voice barked from the whirlwind of shadows. "Embrace the truth that has always been there." "Shut up!" Sarah shouted, her voice echoing against the walls, no longer just for herself but for Lily. "You don't know us. Do I not? You're the one who ignored the signs, who silenced the cries that begged for your attention. Wake up." Each word hammered at Sarah's resolve. The weight of guilt collapsed on her, mingling with the fear that encased her heart. She glanced down at Lily, whose face was a mask of confusion, fear flickering in her wide eyes. "Mommy, please. I can't see it." Lily's voice broke, a plea laced with panic. "It's okay, sweetheart, just hold on to me." Sarah's grasp tightened on her daughter, a protective instinct urging her to shield Lily from both the shadows and the unsettling truths they spun at eye. In that moment, the shadows twisted, pulsing as though they were alive. Images began to dance in the darkness in fragments. Shadows of a little girl laughing, skipping through a park, only to be drowned out by shrouded figures in the distance, haunting specters that lingered out of focus. "Don't you see?" The voice returned, dripping with condescension. "These are the memories you buried deep. The things you would rather forget." "Stop!" Sarah screamed, her voice cracking. "This isn't the truth." You're twisting everything. But even as she protested, she felt the ground beneath her shift, uncertainty rising like a tide. The fear was palpable, wrapping around her like a shroud. She pressed her lips together, determined not to let the darkness take hold. Suddenly, the atmosphere changed. The pressure around them lifted, allowing a sliver of light to seep through, illuminating a path behind the shadows. It was faint, almost imperceptible, but it was there, a beacon of hope. "Look, Lily. The light." Sarah pointed, her heart racing with a new sense of urgency. "We can move toward it. We can fight back." Lily nodded without hesitation. They took a tentative step forward, and the shadows hissed, recoiling as if scorched by the light. The air crackled with electric energy. "Do you think that will save you?" The voice sneered. "You can't escape your truth. The light will only expose the real horror that lies within." As they pushed forward, shadows clawed at their ankles, attempting to drag them down into the depths of despair. Sarah's legs felt heavier with each step, the struggle intensifying as shadows clawed and snapped at them. "Mommy! I can hear the whispers!" Lily cried. Her small voice pierced through the chaos, a spark of clarity amidst the madness. "They're saying I'm different. That I can see things. Is it true?" A wave of dread washed over Sarah. She had always dismissed the strange occurrences, chalked them up to imagination. But what if Lily was more attuned to this dark world than she ever realized? What if there was a hidden truth about her daughter that she had ignored? "Dare you confront it?" The dark entity surged again, its whisper turning to a snarl, a beast cornered. "Your precious Lily, she plays a role in this story, one you can't begin to fathom." The pressure mounted, and in a moment of clarity, Sarah leaned down, making eye contact with Lily. "Whatever it is, baby, we'll face it. Together. I promise." The shadows surged one last time, swirling like a storm, their moans of rage echoing all around. "I will not lose you to this darkness." Sarah shouted with defiance, driven by fear yet empowered by love. They began to move toward the light again, pulses of warmth filling the air between them. With every step, a piece of the darkness began to peel away, but as they pressed onward, the voice chanted a promise that sent shivers down Sarah's spine. "Find out what she truly is, and wish you hadn't." And in that split second, the world transformed. The light flared bright, revealing not only an escape but something else, an echo of unresolved memories. The truth loomed large, casting long shadows behind them that seemed to whisper secrets Sarah had dreaded to uncover. What other horrors would be unearthed as they stepped into the light? The light expanded, enveloping them in a warm glow that felt like a balm against the icy claws of the shadows. For a heartbeat, Sarah thought they made it out. Hope glimmered amidst despair. But just as relief washed over her, the shadows hissed louder, gathering like a tempest, their fury igniting the air with electric fervor. "Do you truly believe that light will shield you?" The voice trembled with dark laughter, now echoing hauntingly in the brightness. Sarah felt a chill creep back into her bones, and she tightened her grip on Lily, who looked up with wide, glimmering eyes, captivated by the surreal twist of their world. "Mommy, what is happening?" Lily's voice trembled, an edge of fear weaving through her innocent curiosity. Sarah glanced down, forcing a smile. "It's okay, sweetie. Just hold on." But her heart raced, thoughts spiraling out of control. Could the light truly protect them, or would it only reveal more horrors? As if answering her silent prayer, another glimpse cracked through the shadows, images flashing in rapid succession. Fractured memories of a forgotten past, her own childhood memories that danced with laughter yet twisted into screams of terror. She struggled against the tide of nostalgia, her stomach churning sickly. "Let her go," Sarah cried, feeling the sharp pull of darkness on Lily. The shadows lurked closer, whispering cruel jests that swirled in a tempest of sound. "You think you can save her by running?" Suddenly, Lily gasped, her breath hitching in her throat. "Mommy, I see them, I see those people, they're sad." Her voice cracked, eyes darting around, searching for something only she could perceive. "Don't listen to them, Lily." Sarah's voice rang out, but doubt crept in, weaving through her defenses. "They're not real. They want to confuse you." A chilling silence fell, the shadows hesitating just for a second, then surged again, a wave of menace that made her skin crawl. The shadows swirled around her daughter, wrapping around her small frame. "The truth can't hide forever, my dear. It will find you. You're special, different," Lily screamed, the sound piercing through the vortex of darkness, fracturing the chant of the shadows. "I don't want to be special. I want to be normal." Tears streamed down her cheeks, her voice rising in desperation. "Normal?" The shadows whirled back, mocking her words. "Oh, but how can you be normal when the darkness embraces you? Your destiny is intertwined with it." The air thickened, charging with a heavy intensity, pulling at the edges of Sarah's sanity. She felt her own memories blur, shadows of her past twisting and warping in ways she couldn't comprehend. The voices echoed louder, ricocheting inside her skull. "No. I won't let you." Sarah shouted, trying to clamp down on her own unraveling thoughts. She had to protect Lily, to shield her child from this chaos of grief and despair. She had always been the protector. But could she protect them from this? With a surge of energy, she pushed forward, forcing the shadows to part. A glow enveloped them again, pulsing wildly as they edged closer to the light. The weight of their boundless fears felt lighter, yet uncertainty loomed. What waited beyond their fragile escape? "Mommy!" Lily grabbed her arm, her small fingers trembling. "What if I'm really different? Maybe I can help." The shadows hissed in fury, knotting around them, trying to pull them back. "You cannot escape who you are. You will always belong to the darkness. Keep moving." Sarah urged, her voice filled with defiance. She didn't know what waited, but she had to believe they would find their truth, even if it meant confronting the horror within. With each step, the shadows snapped at their heels, the struggle heavy behind them, just as despair threatened to drown them both. The light pulsed again, brighter than before. With one final cry, Sarah plunged forward with Lily braced tightly against her chest. They hurtled into a blinding brilliance that swallowed the shadows whole. The moment they crossed over, everything changed. They stumbled into a vast space, crystalline and surreal, shimmering with possibilities. But ahead, darkness still loomed large, whispering secrets and revealing shadows beyond shadows. "Mommy, what's out this place?" Lily asked, a mixture of intrigue and unease glimmering in her gaze. As Sarah turned to respond, a chilling realization gripped her. The darkness now danced just out of reach, taunting them, eager to spill its secrets. I don't know," she whispered, heart racing. But deep down, she sensed the most haunting truth was yet to come. And what it could unveil was a destiny both terrifying and inevitable. "What are we going to find?" As their words hung in the air, the shadows rippled nearby, their whispering promises growing louder. What awaited them on this new and uncertain path? The moment Sarah stepped further into the translucent expanse, she felt a shift in the atmosphere. It was as if they decrossed from one world into another, leaving behind the suffocating chaos of shadows yet stepping into a realm pulsing with its own tension. Glimmering walls refracted the light in a disorienting dance, casting shifting patterns across the ground. It should have felt beautiful, but unease threaded through her every thought. "Mommy?" Lily's voice echoed, bouncing off the crystalline walls, a small sound in a vast and uncertain space. "What is happening? Are we safe here?" Sarah knelt down, meeting those wide, shimmering eyes. "I think we're safe from them for now." But her heart ached. She could feel the weight of the darkness lurking close, clawing at her resolve, but the shadows were different here. Instead of the swirling tempest of malice, they lingered like distant storms, swirling just outside their reach, whispering promises that coiled around Sarah's mind. "You won't be able to run from the truth forever," one hissed, weaving its voice through her despair. "What truth?" she breathed, her heart thumping in her chest. Mommy Lily's voice cut through like glass. I feel them. They're sad and they want me. An icy dread settled in Sarah's stomach. No, sweetie. They don't want you. They want to confuse you. Remember what I said, always stay close to me. But Lily's eyes were drawn into the distance, shining like beacons in the dark. But what if I can talk to them? What if I can help them? Lily, no. I want to let you. Panic surged through Sarah as she tugged her daughter closer. The shadows twisted, almost relishing the tension, the anticipation of their helplessness. They thrummed with eager energy, a chorus that echoed Hannah's own fears. Help. The darkness slithered around Sarah's feet, caressing her ankles with icy fingers. You could be a beacon for them, little one. The pain they feel, the anguish, you could heal it. You could be like them. Stop it. Sarah shouted, rage igniting her instincts. The shadows recoiled, but the unease burrowed deeper. You're lying. Am I? They countered, weaving a tapestry of half-truths. Every child is special, but not every child has the chance to embrace it. Wouldn't you want to learn what makes you different? What could bring you power? The thrumming pulse around them vibrated louder, an intoxicating lure. Yet, Sarah stood her ground. She couldn't let fear win, couldn't let her daughter become a vessel for pain that didn't belong to her. She took a breath, steadying herself. Lily, listen to me. You are loved, you are so very special, and only you get to decide what that means. Not them. A short silence fell, heavy with the weight of uncertainty. The shadows loomed closer, whispering in angry tones, but Sarah's resolve sharpened. She had to force the darkness back, to reclaim the narrative for her and Lily, and then, as if in response, the ground beneath began to tremble slightly, a fragment of the connected energy swirling around them. It felt alive. Mommy. Lily's voice rose, a warning in the tremor of her words. Something is coming. Ahead, a figure took shape within the brilliance. A glimmering shape, hazy at first but growing clearer even as the shadows parted. Sarah squinted, heart racing. It was a mirage bending reality, casting ripples through the air, and then, it stepped forward. A woman, ethereal and radiant, but her eyes. They were pools of darkness swirling with sorrow, yet speaking an ancient truth. I've been waiting for you, she breathed, voice echoing with eternity. Who are you? Sarah's voice shook, disbelief flooding her senses. Your guide and the key to unlocking the truth of your daughter's power. She extended a hand, beckoning with a trust that felt both comforting and alarmingly foreboding. Lily, Sarah whispered, glancing at her daughter, whose eyes were wide with fear and hope. What should we do? Lily asked, each word laced with the weight of both dread and curiosity. Sarah gripped her daughter's hand tighter, poised on the precipice where light collided with shadow. I don't know, she admitted, the uncertainty heavy. But we can't go back. And as darkness and light danced around, Sarah realized the nature of the choices they faced was about to shift. With every second, the shadows whispered a deeper truth, and they needed to find out what that could mean for them. The woman smiled softly, the shadows intensifying around her. You must choose, and only then can you truly understand the darkness and the light within. As those words hung ominously in the air, a sinking feeling settled in Sarah's chest. What awaited them if they chose to step forward? The answer echoed in her mind, forcing her into a fearless reckoning. Was the truth worth the risk? But she had to know. They had to know. As they stood in that shimmering realm, every breath felt like a countdown. What new horrors and revelations were destined to unfold? The woman's eyes sparkled with a twisted beauty, shadow and light flickering across her features. It sent a chill through Sarah, a haunting blend of allure and danger. Her heart raced, pushing the blood through her veins like a warning siren. Choose wisely, the woman said, her voice soft yet commanding, as if drawing them into an intricate web woven from hope and despair. To embrace the light, you must first wade through the darkness. And your daughter, she stands at the threshold of both. Mommy. Lily's voice cut through the tension, high and sharp, like glass shattering. I don't want to let them in. Her tiny hand trembled in Sarah's grip, pulling away slightly as her gaze fixated on the shimmering figure. Sweet pea, listen to me. Sarah leaned down, their foreheads almost touching. We stick together, no matter what. You trust me, right? Lily blinked, her innocence glimmering through the veil of fear, but the shadows crept in closer, whispering sweet promises that slithered through the fractures in Sarah's resolve. Who said anything about letting them in? The woman spoke, tilting her head in a mock gesture of innocence. It's not about permission, it's about acceptance. They want you to know the world they come from, to see the truth of what has been lost. Sarah scoffed, her voice trembling with indignation. They're not showing us anything but darkness. The shadows flickered in response, crowding around them like vengeful spirits. Ah, but darkness is not inherently evil. Each shadow holds a story, a wish unfulfilled. Wouldn't you want to hear them? They whispered, breathy yet urgent, as if they had become one with the cold air. Lily's eyes shimmered like stars, caught between fascination and dread. What if I could help them, Mommy? No. That's not your burden to bear. Sarah's voice rose, fear breaking through the carefully constructed walls of her composure. The urgency in her tone echoed against the shimmering walls, sending ripples of tension spiraling outward. The ethereal woman watched with an inscrutable expression, calm and collected in the face of mounting chaos. Child, they are not burdens but opportunities. To heal, to feel, these things are the essence of life. And you, sweet girl, have the power to bridge both realms. But at what cost? Sarah countered, each word laced with grit. What do they intend to take? They wish only to share, the woman said, her smile pulling at the corners of her mouth as shadows danced eagerly around her. But it is your fear that gives them power. Your girl can either embrace it or stand against it. Which will it be? The light calls, but the shadows weep. Sarah's stomach twisted, her heart pounding against the cage of her ribs. What kind of mother allows her child to entertain the bidding of despair? But something deep down convinced her there was a truth, a peace she had yet to discover. Steeling herself, Sarah turned to Lily, whose eyes were a mix of wonder and trepidation. Lily, you don't have to do anything. You let me decide, all right? I'll protect you. But as those words hung thick in the air, a tremor shook the ground again, this time more violently. The walls vibrated, the crystalline forms bending, stretching, almost alive as the shadows moaned in a discordant melody. Mommy, look! Lily gasped, pointing towards the pulsating light behind the woman. It's moving. The glowing figure flickered, and shapes emerged, faces of those who had come before, twisted in anguish yet searching, pleading to be heard. Each face echoed their unvoiced thoughts, a haunting blame wrapped in sorrow. Sarah! They want us. Gritting her teeth, Sarah braced herself. We're not here to be wanted, we're here to reclaim what is ours. But the shadows wailed, their cacophony rising to a crescendo that intensified the pressure in the air. Embrace what you fear. The woman beckoned, her voice rising above the turmoil. Feel the truth envelop you like a second skin. Only then can you protect her. As the shadows surged, a mix of terror and revelation washed over Sarah. Would she join the chorus of anguish, or would they face it together? Lily's small hand slipped from her grip as she stepped towards the glowing figure, a mixture of bravery and curiosity stretching her fragile resolve. Mommy! I want to know. A rush of dread flared in Sarah's chest. Lily, no. But as the air thickened with anticipation, it was too late. The darkness thrummed with life, and before Sarah could reach her, a scream cut through the realm. The choice loomed larger than life, more daunting than all the shadows combined. What awaited them on the other side of this shattered choice? The moment was upon them, and Sarah could feel the ground readying to shift again. Could they survive the truth that lay ahead, or would they both be lost in the depths of despair? Lily's voice rang out like a siren piercing the echoing darkness. Her words settled heavy in the air, igniting a rush of adrenaline in Sarah's veins. The glowing figure danced, now flickering and shifting violently, as if caught between realms. Lily. Sarah's voice was raw, a desperate lunge forward. But shadows engulfed her daughter, wrapping around her tiny form like dark vines, constricting tighter until Sarah feared they would swallow her whole. The ethereal woman laughed softly, a melody that twisted through the bowels of despair. See how they yearn to connect. They beckon. They plead for freedom. No. Sarah shouted, her heart pounding in her throat like a trapped bird. That's not freedom, it's a trap. They want to take Lily. Yet, as cruel as it was, there was something persuasive about those whispers. Echoes of her own fears floated in tandem with those calls. Did they seek to tell their stories, or did they want to steal her child? Lily hesitated, her frail silhouette dancing on the brink of light and darkness. "Mommy, I just want to help." A lightning bolt of fear shot through Sarah, igniting every protective instinct she had. Help? Help what? You don't even know what they are. But in that moment, the glow intensified, weaving a tapestry of shimmering colors that beckoned like the dawn. Faces emerged again from the depths, lost souls, eyes filled with yearning and despair. Each one pleaded for attention, for someone to listen to their story. A shiver crept up Sarah's spine as she darted toward Lily, urgency thrumming in her limbs. She reached for her, but shadows lashed out, baring fangs and twisting in angry despair. They were alive, thick and pulsing, hungry for something they could never have. "Mommy!" Lily cried, her small frame rocking between fear and a strange fascination. "They're hurt. They need me." "No." The word sliced through the chaos, a battle cry against the encroaching tide. "Lily. They want to find peace through you. You're just a child." The world around them felt frayed, reality threatening to unravel as shadows loomed larger, their whispers transforming into a deafening chant. Join us, Sarah could sense the intensity growing, the very fabric of their surroundings destabilizing. They weren't here to listen, they were here to take. As she fanned a wild desperation, her mind raced. "Listen to me, Lily. You don't have to figure it out alone. We must face the darkness together. The light can only shine through us, not in them." In that moment, the shadows shrieked, a mournful cry that echoed in Sarah's bones, shaking her resolve. They don't want to hear you. They want her. The reality twisted, shadows swirling and slamming against the crystalline walls of the realm like a storm at sea. The figures, faces of the long-lost, turned toward Sarah, launching their pain across the divide, dull and haunting. Would embracing this darkness hurt her or set them free? Yet, she felt Lily's small hand clasping desperately around her own. With trembling resolve, she pulled her daughter close. "We stay together. We fight this." As she steadied herself, the ground split beneath them, echoes of fear flooding her mind. Would the bridge they built withstand the weight of their anguished stories? They needed to choose light or darkness, hope or despair. In a plunge of dread, Sarah threw her gaze back at the ethereal woman, recognizing a flicker of longing in her ancient eyes. Who was she really? What made her want to fill the voids left behind by anguish? "Mommy! Make them stop." Lily's plea jolted her back. She felt a storm brewing inside her, one that could either ignite hope or unravel everything she held dear. As the ground quaked beneath them, Sarah took a deep breath, ready to battle the storm. The choice twisted tighter around their souls, twisting memories into nightmare threads. What comes next? She wondered, heart racing. The truth loomed like a storm cloud, dark and heavy, waiting to unleash its fury. Could they withstand it, or would they be swept away in the tidal wave of sorrow threatening to engulf them both? Sarah's heart pounded as the shadows danced menacingly around them, the oppressive weight of fear thickening the air. She felt Lily's tiny hand clutching hers, grounding her amidst the overwhelming chaos. They stood at a precipice, staring into an abyss that threatened to swallow everything whole. With a fierce determination building within her, Sarah turned to her daughter. "Listen to me, Lily. You're not alone in this. We're in this together, remember? We have to trust each other." She could see the fear flickering in Lily's wide eyes but also a glimmer of hope, the bond between them a luminous thread stretching across darkness. Lily squeezed her mother's hand, the warmth of their connection igniting a spark of courage. "I trust you, Mommy," she breathed, and the sincerity in her voice pulled at Sarah's heart, urging her to believe. "Good. Now let us face it," Sarah urged, standing tall against the churn of shadows. "You may think you can take my daughter, but we're stronger than your tricks." The shadows writhed, recoiling slightly as if startled by her defiance. "Foolish woman," the dark voice echoed, laced with scorn. "You cannot save her. The truth is what she must learn. Only when she embraces her destiny can she be free." The shadows seemed to twist, morphing into swirling shapes that whispered dark promises, enticing yet laced with deception. The shimmering figure of the ethereal woman stepped closer, her voice soft yet commanding. "To unlock the door, you must turn the key," she urged, extending her hand. "What is it you fear most? The truth will set you free." Each word pierced through Sarah's heart. The memories rushed back, the ones she'd buried deep, the looks from others, the intuition she had denied, and the fears she couldn't shake. "The truth?" Her voice trembled, a lump formed in her throat. "What if the truth hurts us?" "It might," the woman replied, her eyes dancing with shadows. "But it's what you need to heal. Can't it simply be love?" Sarah shouted, desperation bubbling beneath the surface. "Why can't love be enough to chase the darkness away?" The shadows erupted in a chorus of mocking laughter, a cacophony that struck raw fear into her heart. "Love cannot protect you from the truth, dear. It's time to confront it." As the shadows surged, Sarah could feel them wrapping around her like a heavy fog, threatening to suffocate her resolve. She glanced at Lily, whose tear-filled eyes shone with both terror and understanding. "I can help them, Mommy," she called, her small voice cutting through the gloom. "No, baby. You're not a vessel for their pain," Sarah shouted, fierce protectiveness coursing through her. "You're stronger than this. You're light amidst the shadows." Gathering every ounce of courage, Sarah tightened her grip on Lily and took a step forward. "If you want to take my daughter, you will have to take me first. But know this: love conquers all. Not fear, not darkness, only love." Her declaration echoed through the chamber, sending shockwaves through the dark entity, causing it to momentarily falter. At that moment, the shimmering light brightened, illuminating the dark. The shapes of lost souls flickered, caught between yearning and despair. "Help us!" they cried, their shadows swirling in a wild frenzy. Sarah's heart ached at their pain. "If this is what it costs to save her," she thought, "then I will fight." The shadows lurked, swirling ominously. "You dare defy us?" they shrieked, anger bending the air. Sarah steadied herself, feeling the warmth from Lily beside her, a reminder of all that was at stake. "We choose to embrace the light within." "Lily," she called, hoping her voice would reach her daughter's heart through the confusion. "Channel your strength. You can see their pain, but you don't have to bear it. Show them love, help them remember what they've forgotten in the darkness." With a resolve that surprised even her, Lily lifted her chin, her small frame glowing with determination. "I won't be afraid. I can help you," she shouted, her voice brightening the shadows. The figures paused, hesitating, and the shadows seemed to scream in agony. "No. Don't listen to her." But as Lily reached forward, the darkness began to shatter, rippling like glass under the power of her innocent light. "Together!" Sarah cried out, amplifying her daughter's courageous call. The two of them moved in unison, the love they shared radiating outwards, pushing against the oppressive darkness with the strength of a tidal wave. The shadows screeched as the light enveloped them, illuminating the pain and sorrow etched across the faces of lost souls. "What are you?" one whispered, the anguish in its voice unspeakable. "We're love," Lily declared, her voice unwavering. "And you can find peace if you let go." In that instant, waves of energy surged through them. The shadows receded, faces transformed from anguish to tranquility, as if released from a lengthy imprisonment. And as the last specter dissolved into the light, a warm glow washed over both Sarah and Lily, wrapping them in a soft embrace of relief. As the storm subsided, the air thickened with exhaustion, yet everything felt different. The room no longer shrouded in shadows gleamed with a new brilliance. We did it?" Lily gasped, eyes wide with disbelief. Sarah knelt beside her, wrapping her arms around her daughter. "Yes, sweet girl, we did." Tears streamed down her face, a mix of relief and pride swelling in her chest. "You've always had the power within you." "We're together," Lily whispered, her small voice filled with wonderment. "Yes. Always together," Sarah agreed, pulling her daughter close. Together, they looked into the horizon where light and darkness intertwined, the path forward ripe with possibilities. The ethereal woman smiled, fading into the light as she murmured, "You have embraced the truth, and love will guide you onward." The darkness may have tried to claim them, but love had triumphed. They exchanged a glance, understanding that their journey was far from over but open to endless hopes for what lay ahead. With renewed courage, they turned and took their first steps forward, leaving the shadows behind, knowing their bond would conquer anything the world threw at them. Now, here's the thing: you need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories that will pull at your heartstrings and keep you on the edge of your seat. Smash the like button now to feed the algorithm, and let us keep this community thriving. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this ending. I want to hear from all of you who are part of this journey, and don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Your support makes all the difference.